Beautiful. All right. Well, let's get going. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Happy that you all are here tonight. And today we are going to delve into this concept of creative confidence and how we can reframe rejection and comparison to fuel our personal growth. So my name is Kat Leander. I am the CEO and founder of Symphonic Mind Body Coaching and super excited to share this session in partnership with the Wavys. Also joining us tonight is Laura Jones. She is the CEO and founder of Little Underground Management, and Laura is going to help monitor the chat as well as do the breakout rooms later on in the workshop. And then as we embark on this journey, do keep in mind that this session is about exploring new perspectives as well as fostering, hopefully, some creativity. So real quick, we're going to delve into some class etiquette guidelines just to ensure a positive and productive environment for everyone. And welcome. First and foremost, we do honor confidentiality. So what is shared in this space tonight stays in this space. Also, want to remind everyone, please respect the ideas, opinions, and identities of everyone. You know, each of us does bring a unique perspective, and so valuing these differences is really going to enrich our learning experience tonight. Also, let's try our best to share airtime, and that means really just allowing everyone the opportunity to contribute by not interrupting and just being mindful about how much each of us is speaking. And then finally, just a reminder, we have zero tolerance for bullying or hate speech. Our community is built on respect and kindness, so it's really important to foster an environment where we can all feel safe and included. So for today's agenda, we'll start with a grounding meditation. I will mention that this is optional to help set the intention. And this is really just a chance for us to be present and set a positive tone. And then after that, we're going to explore the concept of rejection as redirection. So you can think of it as a way to turn setbacks into new opportunities. After that, we'll talk about using envy as inspiration. So recentering feelings into motivation for our own personal growth. We'll also dive into creative confidence in action, where you'll get a chance to see these ideas come to life with real examples. And this is the one I mentioned earlier. This is going to be more of an interactive group exercise. So you'll be in great breakout rooms, you'll do the exercise, then we'll come back together into the main group to discuss. Also, if you do have any questions about the content during the presentation, please feel free to drop it in the chat. And for quick answers, we'll reply to the chat, but for more lengthy questions that require a little bit of a longer response, we'll respond to those during the Q&A at the end of the presentation. And then finally, we'll end with actionable self-reflection, which will equip you with all sorts of practical tools that you can use to carry in your music journey. Any questions so far? Nope. All right, let's do it. So again, my name's Kat. I am thrilled to be one of your coaches today. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in the Windy City, and I've been growing roots in NYC for about 14 years. My way back roots are from Guyana, South America, and I truly feel like that background really shaped, my approach to life as well as my approach to coaching. I'm also a certified life coach through an ICF accredited program. I am anticipating my ACC credential in March, and I specialize in embodiment wellness, and I hold a certification in breath work. I do feel like my journey has sort of taken me through various roles. So, for example, I've worked in human resources, I've been a fitness consultant, I've been in customer service, culinary arts. I even had a brief stint as a Wavys artist. My artist name was Kitten. That's how Rebecca and I connected. So when people were making sourdough during the pandemic, I was making music. And Rebecca found me, and here we are today. So, in terms of my coaching, I like to say that I help you move sort of from survival mode into more of a self-trust and intentional living where you don't let yourself hide behind pain narratives. So during sessions with me, again, I use embodiment training to kind of get you out of this physical suffering and really help you nurture your mind's capacity to heal. And Laura, why don't you go ahead?
Hello, my name is Laura. For those who haven't met yet, it's an honor to be here. And thank you to Rebecca for creating this incredible community. I have worked in the music industry for over 20 years now, a decade of which I was in New York, running my own company, Little Underground Management. And I was representing producers, mixers, songwriters, so anything in the sort of studio arena. So yes, I am from England, but Brooklyn will forever be in my heart, although I'm now living in Mexico, where I am a full-time coach. And I'm still working in the music industry, helping people with career and business development, essentially. So kind of looking where people are now and their hopes and dreams and aspirations for where they would like to be in those careers and helping them figure out kind of what's getting in the way of that and making plans to build momentum and push them towards their dreams. And I'm very excited for you to experience Kat's workshop because just much wisdom to offer. And yeah, I'll let you take it away, Kat.
Thank you. All right, so for anyone that would like to participate in this guided meditation, you can feel free. If not, you can just feel free to just sit quietly and you wait to the next slide and we'll go from there. All right, so to prepare for this meditation, I'll ask you to find a comfortable position, either seated, standing, laying down, whatever feels good for you. Feel free to have a soft gaze throughout this meditation, or you can close your eyes or take your video off, whatever feels authentic. I'd like you to inhale, and each time you inhale, think confidence. I'd like you to exhale now, and each time you exhale, think comparison. Visualize a creative spark in your chest expanding with each breath. You can say this affirmation silently while you breathe. I am not defined by rejection. I am refined by it. Take a slow, deep inhale through your nose. Hold for a moment. Exhale gently through your mouth. Let's do that again. Inhale, hold, exhale. Feel it through your whole body. Bring your awareness to your creative spirit, that part that you think of as your dreams, imaginations, expressions. It's not here to compete, it's here to connect. As you breathe, notice any tension or any stories that may arise. Maybe a moment of rejection, a comparison that may have stung, a time you may have felt unseen. Let it surface, and now let it float. Let it float away like a leaf on water. You are not that moment. You are the river beneath it. Inhale, I am enough. Exhale, I release what is not mine. Inhale, my creativity is sacred. Exhale, I honor my unique rhythm. Imagine a warm light at your heart center. It glows with your truth, your voice, your essence. This light doesn't dim when others shine. It expands. Let it grow, let it radiate, Let it remind you you are not here to be perfect. You are here to be real. Take one more deep breath in and sigh it out. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. As you return to the space, think about or jot down, if you like, one word that describes how you want to feel creatively this week. All right. So today we're going to be diving into the idea of rejection as redirection. So I feel like this can be a powerful concept, especially for independent artists. So first, let's talk about feedback as a mirror for growth. Rejection often carries valuable insights, but only if you're open to hearing them. Constructive criticism can highlight areas to improve in your sound, your lyrics, and your overall delivery. And even if the feedback is vague or maybe a bit harsh, it can actually prompt valuable reflection. Ask yourself, is this about my art or simply their taste? The benefits of this mindset, I feel, are just significant. It empowers you to grow artistically, it builds resilience and remains aligned with your creative purpose. Next, consider fuel motivation with direction. So, yes, of course, rejection can sting, but it can also ignite something inside of you, right? So many successful artists like the Beatles, Kendrick Lamar, they faced numerous rejections before they had their breakthroughs. Each no can become a badge of persistence, proving your dedication to your path. It really helps you sharpen your focus. It can help you clarify your audience and it fuels your next creative leap. Every rejection, I think, is an opportunity for growth and more motivation, really. So I'd like to offer you the space to let it guide you rather than deter you. Now, before we move forward, I do have a question for the group. So the question is, would anyone like to share a time where you felt rejection? And you can feel free to unmute yourself and share, or you can drop it in the chat and share. And while you're thinking about it, I'll quickly share a story of one of my favorite artists, Megan Thee Stallion. So I don't know if you all know this story, but in 2018, when she signed with 1501 Entertainment, she gained a lot of popularity, especially with like Hot Girl Summer and Savage. Anyway, at that time, she discovered that her contract gave the label a disproportionate amount of control over her earnings, her name, her music rights, her genre, everything. So when she tried to renegotiate, the label basically blocked her from releasing any new music. And then when she decided from that point to go public and sue the label, eventually she did win the right to release new music. But the moral of the story is that rejection isn't always a no. Sometimes, it's a system designed to silence or control. So Megan's fight actually reframed rejection as a call to educate, advocate, and protect her creative autonomy. So I just wanted to share that little tidbit with you all. What about you all? Let me go to the chat for a moment. Medusa's here. Hello. What I want to feel creatively this week is agentic and intentional. I love that. Those are great intentions. All right. Oh, sorry. I just
Oh,
saw something come through. There was a time where I wanted to sign to a production company. Okay. However, because of my sexuality and because I embrace my femininity, I was rejected. Okay, Jay. Well, first of all, I am so sorry that you experienced that. I used to be a musical theater girl. I have my BFA in musical theater, and auditioning for shows was very difficult. Okay. because I didn't fit into their mold. Okay. So now I do theatrical pop and make my own mold. That's right. You make your space. I love it. I love it. Great. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, so let's continue to explore how rejection can serve as a tool for refinement. So I feel like this particular one really helps you kind of hone in and sharpen your unique signature. It encourages you to experiment and sort of evolve without conforming. So I feel like this process kind of helps you discover what your authentic voice actually is. Now, it's crucial to separate your self-worth from your work. I'll say that again. It is crucial to separate your self-worth from your work. Saying that again for you all, but also for myself too. Protecting your spirit is absolutely essential as you navigate this very, very unpredictable music industry. I feel like a resilient mindset is really what is going to help support you in this journey. So, another question for the group. And again, you can drop in the chat or you can unmute. So, first question is, what are some ways that we can reframe some of these statements? So, let's start with the first one. What's a way that we can reframe the statement, why wasn't I good enough? How can we reframe that into something more positive? Brianna, you look like you said something.
Yeah, I was like, because sometimes this comes to my mind when I don't get a role or I just, don't go further in audition. It's just like
Yeah,
maybe, I just, wasn't what they were looking for today. It's just it has nothing to do, it's nothing personal. It's just
yeah,
they had a specific image in mind and I didn't quite fit that today. And, next week could be something different. So,
beautiful. Perfect.
yeah,
Yes, I love that. I love that. And I love that you removed yourself, right?
right. Or
You
try.
know that you you did it. You did it because you were able to move forward and still make progress on your goals. That's excellent.
Thanks.
You're welcome. One that came to my mind when I wrote this one was I am enough and I will come across the opportunity that's right for me in the future. All right, let's do another one. How about the next one? They didn't like my music. They didn't like my music. How could we reframe that into something more positive and self-uplifting? Going to the chat here, yes, and also it could be situational, 100%. Like if your voice is rough, could you drink tea? Yes. Excellent. Exactly. So one I thought of for this one, they didn't like my music, which came up for me a lot when I was making music was my music's not their taste. Keep it moving. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Medusa. It wasn't for them. Shrug emoji. Exactly. Perfect. I feel like this one comes up a lot. How about I need a huge following to get gigs? I need a huge following to get gigs. How can we reframe that? I'm so grateful for the intimacy of small shows. That's a reframe. I mean, I know that's your thought, but also that's a reframe too. That's a reframe. Yes. One I thought of for that one was along the same lines. Gigs show up for me with consistency and by showing up with intention. Great. Yeah, you guys are right on. Y'all are right on track. I am. How about this one? If I'm not in a major city, I'll never make it. If I'm not in a major city, I'll never make it. What's this quote here? Quote from title of the show, the musical. I'd rather be nine people's favorite thing than 100 people's ninth favorite thing. Dropping gems in the chat tonight. Yes, I absolutely love this. I am going to be utilizing this one for the next webinar. I hope you don't mind, Carly. That's fantastic. I love this. But for this one, you could also say, I make an impact wherever I am in the world, and my work matters. You can find your community in a lot of places. Facts, period. Exactly. How about I have to do it all myself to stay independent? I'm sure you've all heard that one. Right? Right? So you could say instead, my independence actually does include support. My independence actually does include support. Remember that. All right. So, how do we turn envy into a source of inspiration? Comparison is natural. We all know this. We all do this. Our brains are pretty wired to do this. So, it's thanks to something called mirror neurons. So, what these neurons do, they activate when we perform an action and also when we observe someone else performing an action. This is how we learn. This is how our brains connect. Now, in creative spaces, this can sometimes lead to self-doubt, but the key is to shift the perspective. So rather than seeing comparison as a negative, we can view it as a signal or a sign that we care and that we're aligned with what we're observing. So instead of feeling like, for example, you're not enough, ask yourself, what is this showing me about what I truly want? You can use these observations as inspiration rather than something that's intimidating. And also just remember that your creative identity isn't threatened by others. It's actually clarified through these comparisons. So by harnessing envy positively, we can uncover values and desires that are deeply important to us. So we can use that awareness to actually fuel our growth and create a space. All right, so welcome to the breakout part of the workshop. So first, I'd like to set the stage for completely comfortable and open sharing environment. Laura's going to help break you out into groups, and within each group, what I'd like you to do is share a moment when comparison made you doubt your creativity. Again, this is a safe space to explore our experiences. And once you've shared, I'd like you to then work together to reframe that moment. What did it reveal about your values or your aspirations? So you can think of this as sort of an exercise to transform your comparison into a source of inspiration. Got it, Medusa. Good to see you. And then after your discussions, we'll circle back to the main group. We'll each take a turn and share. Any questions about the exercise? Nope. All right. Well, we'll see you back in the main group in about 5 minutes. All right. So how was that exercise for everyone?
It's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Not to put you on the spot, but since you're unmuted, would you be willing to share first?
Sure. Me personally, I talked about how I was pretty envious of this girl in my basically in grad school, just because like performing and writing and everything just seemed to come so easy to them. And it kind of inspired me to just really get into the practice room and spend some more time working on my craft and, taking more risks. Yeah.
Great. I love that. Great. Thank you so much. That's perfect. Thank you for sharing.
No problem. Thank you.
Who else would like to share? You can come off of mute or, excuse me, you can drop in the chat. And actually, while you all are typing typing your responses. I can share because I did the exercise too, and it reminds me of so last year I was really excited to work for this company, and I had gone through like all of these interviews. This was like 4 rounds of interviews. Plus a hiring exercise, plus reference checks, like all of the things. It was like almost a 2 month process at the end of it just to be told we are offering it to someone else. So yeah, I was a little pissed because that's my time and my energy, and I didn't get paid for any of that time and energy that I took to do all of the things, and then to loop in my people to do things for me too. It was very disappointing. But say all that to say, and I didn't know a lot of about reframes back then like I do now. But if I were to reframe that, I would just tell myself, you know what? The universe had something better in store for me. And actually, that company isn't doing very well. So to be honest, had I gotten that offer, I probably would have ended up looking for another job again anyways. So it's probably a good thing. Someone out there was protecting my energy and I didn't even know it. But it was hard when it first happened. But now I can think, when things like that happen, now I understand the process and the beauty of reframing. All right, let me see in the chat here. I lost an opportunity to have an off-Broadway show because not enough people came to a gig that I had. Okay. But I recognize that there are countless opportunities to get on stage. Yep. I just have to be consistent. Yes, 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 exactly. And it has nothing to do with you or your effort or your talent. Great. Great job. Thank you for sharing. All right, we can have time for one more if anyone else wants to share, and then we'll proceed. All right, Carly, let's see. I compare myself to artists who have a big following, yep, and good social media game. Okay. Because social media for me is a bit of a blind spot, but performing live is not. Facts, truly get it. I'm sure a lot of you on this call can relate to that. Great. Well, thank you all so much for participating. I truly hope that it sparked some ideas and, just some additional ways to be kind to yourself when it comes to rejection. All right. So, creative confidence in action. What is this? So, it is a tool to help you navigate your journey with purpose and action, to be honest. So the Creative Compass is a framework that was created by a gentleman, Dan Millen. He's the one who kind of coined this phrase, where he outlines a 5-stage approach to writing. But what I wanted to do with this instead was I wanted to kind of play with the anchors a little bit and turn them into a literal compass. And that way you can kind of use that today and help you kind of think about the direction that you want to take yourself and your career. So if we look at north, we can call that curiosity. This is the spark that ignites creativity. It invites us to explore, ask questions, and remain open to possibilities. Think of it as like a magnet that pulls and drives discovery and innovation. Then we take south. We can call that resilience. This is our grounding force. It enables us to endure rejection, failure, and self-doubt. It's like the root system that keeps us steady and helps us grow through challenges. Then we can think of east as expression. So imagine a sunrise of creativity. Expression is how we give form to our ideas, whether it's through our voice, movement, art, or action. This is where imagination meets embodiment. We can think of west as reflection. So this is the setting of the sun that brings wisdom. Reflection allows us to pause, integrate, and realign ourselves. It's where the insights deepen and our intentions start to sharpen. And together, these principles form what I like to call as a holistic guide, and it can help you navigate your creative journey with purpose and power. I'd love for you all at this moment to just take a moment and reflect on the anchors. And if you want, you can drop your compass direction in the chat, as well as one action that you'll take to honor it this week. I'm going to drop mine in the chat as well. So my compass direction this week I'm going to use is west because I can use some more reflection. East expression, south resilience. Yes. North curiosity. Yes. Love it. I will read more this week to lean into it. Yes. Love that. Great. Great. All right. Well, thank you all so much again for being part of this journey today. Really appreciate your energy and your time and enthusiasm. And thank you so much for, engaging with us today. If you feel called to do so, you can feel free to scan the QR code to share your feedback with us on this class. And if you'd like to get in touch with us separately, I did drop our emails here for Laura and I. Other than that, that concludes the presentation part of this workshop. So I am going to stop the recording and we can